I'm Teresa Flayhaven. I'm an assistant Scott County attorney, and I've been with the office for 2 years. I'm a juvenile prosecutor. As an attorney, I get a case from an investigator after an investigation and a report has already been made, and I review it and decide if there's enough evidence to move forward with a prosecution. And through that, our office works with the victim to make sure that they feel supported and they're a part of the process and have their say throughout the judicial process. A sexual assault can happen with relationships, it can happen with strangers, and you always have the right to set the boundaries of what you're comfortable with. Just because you agree to make out with somebody or do something else doesn't mean they automatically have permission to carry it further. And you can always say no. You can say yes, and then you can change your mind. And if somebody pushes you forward past that, that's still an assault. Sexual assault doesn't just mean rape. It doesn't just mean vaginal intercourse. It can be any unwanted sexual contact. Whether a case is public depends on the age of the defendant. So if somebody's 16 or older, that case is a public case. But even when it's a public case, we work really hard to keep victims' identities as confidential as possible. So we often refer to victims by their initials or another moniker, such as just victim, to try to keep your information as private as possible. The only time you would have to see him or her, and you'd be required to, is if you were ever called to testify at trial. And that's because the Constitution gives a defendant the right to confront all their witnesses. But throughout the process, you always have the right to appear at any hearing that you would like to appear at, and you could see the defendant if you're there. As a prosecutor, we face a burden of proving beyond a reasonable doubt that a defendant is guilty of a crime. And so even if we choose not to pursue charges against somebody after a report of a sexual assault, does not mean that we do not believe you and does not mean that you were assaulted. If you have a friend or a relative that you think is sexually assaulted, you should go to law enforcement or a trusted professional or adult and report it so that we can investigate and make sure that they're safe. We believe you.